Our next storyteller is Maya Akiva.
Yes, women represent. Although wait until you hear my topic, which is the story I'm going to share today is a non-holiday story about the moment I decided to not transition from female to male. So it's double women power. That has anything wrong about transition. I've been called Sarah all of my life. It started in 5th grade when my mother gave me money for the first time to go get a haircut and clothes that I would like to wear. She didn't realize that I would come back with a short haircut and a button boy green shirt, which I love and wore for many, many years after. She was shocked. She did not see that coming. Every photos that you see of me before 5th grade, I'm with a dress and long hair, and every photo after 5th grade with not a dress and short hair. I've been called Sarah everywhere where there's service involved, buses, supermarkets, restaurants. I used to get very mad. I was like, it's ma'am, sir. I used to snap. The highlight was one day when I walked into a restroom in a restaurant, and as I was walking in the door, as I was coming out of the restroom, a woman was walking in, and we kind of opened the door at the same time. And she opened the door, she looked at me, she looked at the sign of the door, she looked back at me, she took a step back, she looked at the sign again, she took a step forward, and I was like, no, it's okay, it's the women's restroom, and I left. That was the highlight of my identity confusion. And it happened more than once, by the way. In my 20s, I came out and I moved to Los Angeles and I started dating, so I started getting compliments about looking more butch and dressing with men's clothes. So it got a little bit easier for me, and I learned to accept it a little bit more, and that there is value in it. And I stopped accusing people and yelling at people for thinking I'm a man, calling me sir, and I would just be with compassion and say, I know, yeah, I mean, I dress like a guy, so of course they have every right to think I'm a man. I had no problem with it. But despite all of that, there's still a lot of internal shame about looking different, about being butch. I was shamed by my mother a lot of my life around that. The shirt that I bought, the green shirt with the buttons, got us into a lot of fights because my mother did not like me wearing that shirt and did not want me to wear it to family events. In 2010, I went to a party in Highland Park. I don't know if you guys know, if you're from LA, but it's a very queer community. And now this was 2010. The internet was there, but not like as it is today. Facebook was kind of like maybe there. Bruce Jenner has not transitioned yet. There was not that many talk and understanding and information about being a trans. Most of my information was from either going to drag queen shows or kind of knowing in the gay community, seeing male to female transgender. But I've never met a female to male transgender. I've kind of heard about them, I knew it existed, but I've never met one face to face. And I walk into this party, and there's a really nice couple there, very cute. The guy is tall and thin, he has short blonde hair, he's dressed like with a leather jacket and a button shirt, jeans, very nice looking, very attractive. And his girlfriend, this German chick, and again, she's very attractive, very cute. And I started talking to them, and I don't know why, maybe it's because it was the time or the environment, but right away I realized, they told me, that he was actually a transgender male, he was female to male, and that was his girlfriend, who was a female. And I was not shocked, but I was surprised, to say the least. And the first wave of feelings that came over me was actually a wave of jealousy. Here was this guy who looks like a guy, who used to be a female, and he was very comfortable with the way he looked. He was very comfortable with his clothes, and he acted like a man. He was a man. He acted like a man. He had a girlfriend. He was just roaming. I remember thinking in my head, this person roams around the world as a man and doesn't have any identity questions, doesn't wonder about what people see when he walks into a room, which is something that I always think of when I walk into a room. We started talking, and his girlfriend went away, and I don't know why. It was very nice, and we connected, and we spent the rest of the party talking. And I told him, can I ask you a question about you being trans? Because I've never met any male to female, female to male trans. And he was like, yeah, sure. So I looked at him and I was like, and I felt very comfortable. I don't know, he was very open. So how does it work? And he looks at me and he goes like, what do you mean, how does it work? And I'm like, all right, I'm going to ask you something. You don't have to answer if you don't want to, but that's my first question, okay? He was like, okay. And I was like, do you have a penis? And he looks at me and he tells me, no, I do not have a penis. And I'm like, okay, so how does it work? And we spent the next 2 hours talking, and he explained to me exactly what he went through and how does it work, and how does it work with his girlfriend, and what is it his life is. And he was very open, and it was very encouraging. In my mind, as he was talking, I felt very jealous and very inspired and very it felt like something that I would like to have. But then also the thought, again, back then, of changing everything and showing up in a different identity as a man was just something. Seeing the face of my mom when I tell her that, seeing the face at work when I walk in as a guy and have to explain to everybody, what the hell is going on? It was just too much for me. But I felt this sense of relief and inspiration of what he looked like and what he was going through. Because again, I suffered from this internal shame about being a butch woman. And I started kind of like playing around with the idea. It's like, what if? I didn't have to do it tomorrow, but I'm like, what if? That would be so fun to walk around the world being okay with the way I look, and it being the right way it's supposed, not the right way it's supposed to be, but the right way society sees you. And I don't have to explain, and I don't have to say something that will prove that I'm a girl whenever I walked into a public space that was not queer. And then I came across this movie called Becoming Chess. I don't know if you guys ever saw it, but Cher, back then daughter, decided to transition from female to male, and she made this documentary, very honest documentary again, 2011, pre 9/11, pre everything that you know today about trans people, before Transparent was aired. We didn't know anything, and he was very honest. And I remember sitting around, I remember exactly, I'm sitting on my couch watching this documentary. And here's what is described. He's taking hormones, male hormones, and he sits there and he says, I'm becoming a man. I have those thoughts about women, they really annoy me. I start yelling at my girlfriend for no reason because she just talks too much. He looks around and he goes like, I don't know what's happening to me. I'm becoming a man. I'm starting to have smells that I'm not really sure what they are. I'm starting to change. And I was sitting there at that moment, I had the epiphany that I do not want to be a man. No offense. I do not want to be a man. I love being a woman. I love feeling feelings like a woman. I like communicating like a woman. I like seeing the world through the eyes of a woman. I just like to dress like a man. But I do not want to be a female. But I do not want to be a male. And I love being a woman. And at that moment, I decided that it's not for me, and that I just need to heal my shame around looking like a butch woman and wanting to dress like a man. And I thank this documentary every day that I didn't make a decision that I regret later, and that I was able to find the tact through my journey of staying a woman who likes to dress like a man. Thank you.